Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hey there, it's chicken enchilada day. Today, I'm super excited to share this recipe with you all. If you have followed Unimaze very long, you actually have probably made this recipe. It is the #1 recipe on my blog and on my Pinterest board, as a matter of fact. It's that good. Oh my goodness, it is cream cheese and delicious tender chicken. I'm going to show you a little trick on how to make really good boiled chicken breasts, and green chilies and cilantro and all kinds of good things. It is easily the meal that my kids ask for the most. They have their favorite soup and they have their favorite Mexican food dish, and this is their favorite Mexican food dish. And let me tell you, we can eat some Mexican food now. And this is not traditional. It is, I don't know, it's real creamy, it's different. It doesn't have a red sauce on it, like, a lot of enchiladas have. It's cream-based. It is divine. This dish, as a matter of fact, is one that I will make when I need to share a meal for someone, like if I need to make something for us and then make something for someone else, like maybe somebody is sick or moving or had a baby. This is a great one to divide up because it makes a 9 by 13 with about 10 whole big, kind of extra large filled enchiladas. And so if you don't need to eat all that, you can certainly divide it up and take some to a friend. You can also take this and freeze it or make it ahead, because you can make the whole filling, put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and then bake it when it's time. So this dish is just a winner all the way around. So many great things about it. And I have mentioned this before, as a matter of fact, when I made homemade chicken stock, because I talked about how delicious that meat is that comes off of that chicken when we cook it in that, we're getting that good stock all day long. So if you have got that chicken, use that chicken. It is so good. You can also do a quick shortcut, and you can use rotisserie chicken if you need to, because that chicken's got great flavor already kind of built in. You can get the traditional one, or maybe the one that has a little garlicky, buttery flavor in it. Can't go wrong there. But what I want to do first, I'm kind of getting a little prep going here from our sauce. It's going to actually have sauteed onions and garlic, which is the way all good things start, right? Butter, onions, and garlic. It's one of our favorite ways to start a dish around here. But what I have going in the back is actually some boiling water. And you want to salt the water that your chicken cooks in. And I'm going to do that. Like, I'm going to take, not my little grinder, but like, my handfuls. And go ahead and salt this boiling water pretty well, because it's going to give your meat some flavor. And it's also going to tenderize it just a little bit. Salt does its job and tenderizes meat. So let's talk about boiled chicken real quick. We've all boiled chicken breasts before, and they seize up and they turn really, really tough and really rubbery. So I'm going to show you a great way to boil chicken breasts. So we have our full chicken breasts and our water to a big, big, big boil, really salted. And then I'm going to put this chicken in there and make sure all of the pieces are in the water. And then we're going to bring that back to a boil. Okay, are you listening? This is important. We're going to bring it back to a boil and let it boil for just a couple of minutes, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes or so. And then we're going to turn that all the way down to a simmer. You can practically turn it all the way off because that water is so hot. And we're basically going to we're just going to almost poach it. We're going to boil it right away and then turn it down and let that salted hot water kind of continue to slow cook the chicken. It's that high, intense boil where you're trying to hurry up and get that chicken done that turns that into that yucky old rubbery chicken breast that nobody really likes, and you can't chew it when it's in your casseroles. And so this is the way to do it. High boil, salted water just for a minute or two, and then turn that water way, way down so that that salted, warm water can just continue to cook that meat through. It's almost reminiscent of how we did our pulled pork in theory. High heat right away, remember that? And then put it in low and slow and let it cook. We're doing kind of the same thing to the chicken. It's a great trick. You're gonna love the way that that tastes. So in my braiser, I'm just gonna add these chopped onions. This is just a medium yellow onion. And this, I've got a little oil in here. Woo, it's a hot one. And we are gonna just give these a little saute really quickly. I got that just a little bit hot, and there was a little water on there, and so it's going to town. And my chicken breasts have already come up to a big boil, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce those because they've been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those down right now to a low simmer so that we're not just cooking them like crazy. We don't want to do that. And I'm going to chop this garlic and add it to the onions here pretty quick. And then when we come back, we're going to make this unbelievable creamy sauce that's going to go in our chicken enchiladas. This is cooking today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Hi, we're back. We're making chicken enchiladas today. And I have my chicken poaching / boiling on the stove. And my onions have sauteed in oil. And I'm just going to add in this chopped garlic. You just add chopped garlic for a few minutes till it becomes fragrant. And then you know that it is ready to go. You need to add a little liquid to your garlic as soon as you start to smell it so that it doesn't burn up, because it will burn up quickly on you. So I am sauteing these onions and garlic. I have turned the heat down on my chicken after I brought it to a boil so that it can continue to cook through, but it'll continue to cook through tenderly without seizing up and getting all chewy and rubbery and yucky that we don't like. So I am giving that garlic just a few minutes to saute with the onions. It smells super delicious. And then what we're going to add to this is a block of cream cheese, 8-ounce cream cheese. I'm using whole cream cheese. You are welcome to lighten it up a little bit if you'd like. I would always suggest using a third fat rather than the fat-free, because I just don't feel like you get the same consistency. You really want these to be really good. So I would not cut the fat out completely on this. So I'm going to put in this cream cheese. Now I've got my heat turned down to pretty low at this point because you don't want the cream cheese to really brown and it can kind of burn. So once we've got that saute on our onions and our garlic, we're just going to add this cream cheese to it and give it a little stir. And that's going to melt down in just a minute. It just takes a minute, a little time. Our chicken is kind of simmering over there on the side. And that will continue to break down. And while it does, I'm going to add 2 small cans of chopped green chilies. We love the green chilies in this. It's kind of a little bit of like a sweet, peppery bite. It's not hot, so don't associate green chilies with spice. It's not really the case. And so I'm going to add 2 cans because we love it to the cream cheese. Plus, I always love to add a little color. If you can ever add a little color to your meals, especially this just kind of cream sauce, that green is beautiful. Oh, it smells good. Smells good, good, good. And see how that cream cheese is kind of breaking down and getting, it's getting creamy, making our sauce. And I say sauce, this is really more our filling. This doesn't really have a real sauce. This is our chicken filling. Okay, and to this, while that continues to cook down a little, I'm going to add a teaspoon of cumin. I love cumin. You can measure it if you like. I'm just going to shake some in. And then I'm going to add, now here's where I want the heat to come in. I'm going to add a few teaspoons, whatever you'd like, of these diced jarred jalapenos. We use these like crazy. I put them in recipes. My husband throws them on top of all kinds of things. He always likes a little heat on top of his dishes. So I'm going to add mostly juice with a few peppers. Not tons of peppers because we don't want it to burn you like crazy. Okay? And then I'm going to stir that in. Oh my goodness, all these smells. You can definitely tell that it's creamy. You can smell that, but then you can get a little of that cumin and the heat from those jalapenos and that little bit of sweet from those onions. And of course, we just love garlic. Okay, so this is kind of our base right here. And then I'm going to give it a little salt always. And a little cracked black pepper because salt and pepper brings out the best flavor of all kinds of things. Everything, really. Okay, and that's kind of our base. I'm going to let that finish just a little bit getting hot. And I've got that on pretty low because you don't want that to simmer. We just really want that residual heat from the oven to kind of keep cooking that down. And then I have this block of Colby Jack. It really shreds a whole lot better if it's freezing, not freezing cold, but really cold, like cold refrigerated. And I'm going to just give this a shred. I like it on those biggest holes on this side. And again, cheese is relative. You can choose as much or as little cheese as you would like. I usually do about 1.5 cups maybe. You can add it to the top as well. You could actually add it to one side of your enchiladas if you wanted and keep it out on the other side if you have somebody that, wants to lighten up or who just doesn't really like the flavor. Believe it or not, I have somebody in my house who doesn't love cheese. I can't even believe I birthed her. Oh, I just said who it was. It was Grace. She doesn't really love cheese. I don't know where she came from. But anyway, so I'm going to shred this. This is a little bit of a headache to shred your own cheese. But it makes all the difference in the world, gang. Cheese that you buy shredded already has a little coating on it, and it's not going to melt the way that fresh shredded cheese does. So I'm going to finish this. Our chicken is just about ready to be pulled. Our filling is delicious and melted, and we're going to put it all together when we get back. This is cooking today. Hello, we are making chicken enchiladas today. It is delicious, and I am just taking my fork and my knife and kind of pulling this chicken apart. See how nice and tender that is? How it's just kind of shredding almost? That is the method of cooking it quickly and high on boil for a couple of minutes, and then turning that stove down to a low simmer for about 20 minutes or so, just to kind of let that sit there and continue to kind of cook that chicken on low and slow so that the chicken doesn't seize up and get all yucky where we can't chew it. We don't want that. So I've gone ahead and shredded this chicken with my forks. My oven is ready to go. I've got it set at 375, which is just enough to bake it and kind of brown it on the top without crisping it too much. So our chicken is good. I'm going to put this in a big bowl. And then we also have our creamy filling that we have made on the stove that had our onions and garlic and all of that good stuff in it. Let me get my bowl scraper. There we go. Okay, got this little tool. This chicken is hot. Okay, so I've got my chicken going in my bowl. We're going to put all this together in one big bowl, and that's our whole filling, and that's kind of all there is to it. And then we're just going to fill those tortillas and bake it. And everything that's in it is already cooked. There's nothing raw inside of here. And so the cook time is actually pretty short, relatively speaking. Only about 20 minutes or so, 30 at the most, because everything is really cooked. So we have our chicken in our bowl. And then we have all this good creamy filling with that green chili. See how pretty that color is, just to give it a little something else. I'm going to lift this and shake that in. See if I can scrape out the rest. And then I also have a couple of cups of shredded Monterey Jack cheese that I was working on before the break. And I love fresh shredded cheese. There's just something about it. It's super, super soft and melts beautifully. So I have just a little cheese. Just gonna put this in here. So we're making our filling. Isn't that easy? Couple of pots going at one time, but nothing bad. Pretty simple. Okay. And here's our filling. I've tasted it already, and it is really good. I went a little heavy on those jalapenos. You know, I always say you can always add them later, but you can't take them out, and I kind of went a little heavy. So my husband and kids are going to love that. So here's our filling. And then all I do is take a 9x13 dish. That looks good. Smells amazing. Here's a 9x13. This is an enamel dish that I actually have at Unimaze. I am crazy about this guy. And all we need to do is put this filling in the middle of about 10 tortillas. Now, you may or may not be able to cram 10 tortillas into your 9x13. It kind of depends on the depth. And, you know, not all 9x13s are exactly 9x13. Some of them are and some of them are not. So what I often end up being able to do is get about 8 in there. And then I actually will look for people that I know, you know, that are sick or whatever, or just need a little something special. And I can generally make 2 more in a little pan to send to someone. Okay, so this isn't very hard. It's very, very simple. I just do a little smear of that filling right down the middle. And then I just roll and tuck and put it in my pan. And I've brushed this pan with a little bit of olive oil just so that those don't stick. And then we just repeat this with all of these tortillas. And then line our pan. And I love to do a little sprinkling of like paprika, chili powder, something that's a little red and seasoned and yummy right across the top. The color on there is really, really pretty. I also know several people who love a green salsa, you know, like a verde, and they will actually drizzle this like down the, you know, drizzle a little green salsa right down the center of these. If you're a cheese lover, more so than what I have included in here, at this point, you could actually do another little sprinkle of cheese on top of that filling if you would like to. That really makes them like gooey, like when you pick up a big piece of pizza and the pizza strings, the cheese strings on you. That's what that would do. So we've got a few more of these to do, and we're going to finish this pan. And then I'm going to make a couple of yummy toppings. We'll do a couple of tomatoes, some fresh cilantro, even some black olives. You could do an avocado crema if you would like. Remember when we made that before with our pork tacos? Oh, it's so good. That's the stuff you eat with a spoon. You could do that. And also homemade salsa. The Mexican creamed corn that I've made earlier as well. So many great choices, ways to amp up this chicken enchilada recipe, but either way you do it, I'm sure you're going to love it. I'm going to finish these. We're going to stick them in the oven, and when you come back, we're going to eat them. This is cooking today. One thing that you may or may not know about me is that I drink a lot of sweet tea. I make a gallon or 2 at least a week. I always make it on Sundays just to get us all stocked up for the week to come. It is so good. It's so easy to make. I think everybody thinks it might take a little elbow grease, but it really doesn't. So easy just to brew a couple of cups, add 1.5 cups of sugar, let that stir really well till it's mixed up real well and melted, almost like you're making a simple syrup, and then just brew your bags. Fill the rest of your gallon-sized jug with ice, and you're done. The ice will melt in all that hot, sugary tea water, and you are set. It is so good. We drink it at home, we drink it in my store, and we drink it on the set every time we're together. It is our favorite Southern sweet drink. We are finishing up our chicken enchiladas today. Look at this pan. Oh my word, aren't they beautiful? Oh, they're so good. They smell fantastic. So what I want you to be sure to know is before we put them in the oven, I poured a little whipping cream on the top to kind of give us this good creamy sauce that kind of softens those tortillas as they bake. Added another little shred of cheese and this pretty little shake of chili powder for a little bit of color, a little texture, and that last little bite of seasoning that we love. And so before I serve these, I'm actually just going to put a little bit of cilantro right on the top. I'm going to pull these leaves off and then serve these. Now what you need to know is that they bake covered for, I don't know, at 375 for about 15 minutes or so, 20 maybe, so they get kind of bubbly and good on the inside. And then they bake uncovered for a few more minutes just till they get nice and brown. And if you want to turn the broiler up to do that, just to get a little more color on there, you certainly can. So I'm going to let these sit. They need to sit a little bit and get set so that they're not so hot that you can't eat them and that they're way too mushy and runny. You want them to sit a little bit, probably allow maybe about 15 minutes or so at room temperature, just to kind of get that major heat off, and then let them get so good that you can cut them and serve them on a pretty plate. And then I would serve these on beautiful dishes with tomatoes, a little more cilantro, a beautiful dollop of cream cheese to kind of cool off the peppers that are in there, and serve these up to your family. They're gonna lick their plates. This is cooking today.
Coffee sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh.